I really value experiences where you push out of your comfort zone, and in that space of kind of discomfort and mental stress, there's loads to learn. My name is Heysel Findlay. I'm from England and I'm a professional climber and a coach. I was thinking about doing a trip with my friend Maddie and we came up with Bohuslän. Me and Maddie first met at school when we were 16 or something. Yeah, and then we've been really good friends since then.
Can you start up this thing?
For the last 10 years I've been told by various people how amazing this place is and I should go and I'd really love it. We understood pretty quickly why people had been telling us to come here over and over again. Put that on the list.
So I'll put it on the list.
Here in Bohuslän, it is predominantly a trad climbing area. I think it's kind of cool that there's some vaulted routes, some trad routes, some death routes, some splitter cracks where you can place a piece of gear above your head the whole way. When we arrived in Bohuslän, it's a bit more UK style, where the gear isn't always obvious. You are fiddling in nuts, taking weird gear and stuff like that.
I'm a bit worried if I'm going to go out to the left, is the road just going to lift out?
You know, you do a route and you end up just spending so much time fiddling in gear, and then you're like, on the next route you do better. Me and Maddie were really lucky because when we started climbing, we started with that culture of ground up.
But it doesn't get much better than that.
It's really funny because obviously she started when she was 16, a complete beginner, obviously pretty crap.
Almost everything we do is from Ali G.
Bringing the Warrington to the team.
Was it?
And I started when I was 7. Obviously pretty good by the time I got to 16, but then she's just slowly been chasing me and chasing me and chasing me up to the point where now we're like really evenly matched.
So I'm Madeline Cope and I'm from the UK, miserable UK, not in the sun like this, and I live in Sheffield.
Well, I bravely opened it and ate 2 pieces.
Just don't think I can do it.
Now it's your turn to eat 2 pieces.
I'm about to climb, I might vomit.
It's really fun to find other women who can climb a similar level to you and go to the same places as you can and have cool adventures.
I think I met Heysel when I started climbing. Yeah, I think I was quite scared of her, you know, she was really good. The first time I led a trad route, Heysel was there. I think she was the reason I actually led it. She was like, you should lead a trad route. And I think I'd never really thought about it before. And then I was like, oh yeah, maybe I should do one too.
Latte red bush. Oh, here it is. This will make the film. Do it more than we go climbing. I just have to I guess I mostly came to Bohuslän to see the place, but I did want to try something hard. And after a little bit of research, it seemed like the Electric Avenue was maybe the coolest hard line that wasn't a complete death route. It seemed right up my alley in terms of it being a little bit spicy, a little bit weird with the gear, a little bit run out, technical, hard. There's all this wet moss on the wall and we could see wet patches on the route, but despite all of that, it looked amazing. And because it is a scarier route, we top roped it first. You know, you're looking down and you're kind of saying, whoa, that's my last piece all the way down there, and you're kind of doing the maths, adding up the distances, and your heart's racing a little bit just thinking about climbing it. That's where the excitement starts, and then the process of kind of piecing it together, and I find to be really fun.
Might make you feel a little bit nicer for this move. Yeah, it's tiny, tiny wire. With your foot like there or something?
Many climbers will see the polished result of climbing a route like this, but actually it's not like I just walked up to the cliff and just smashed it.
So how on earth do you place this gear?
The crooks move and you go like that, and then you're in the handle.
And I think many people kind of say, I can't do that, I'm not bold enough, I'm not brave enough. And it's been a challenge for me to kind of convey this idea that actually there's nothing different about me.
I've been in such things as Real Rock 8. You may have seen me in Real Rock 8.
I think everyone has got the capacity to do what I do, it just takes years of practice. Electric Avenue had been wet at the start of the trip. It dried out for one day. The morning of that day, I kind of got this bad news. It was kind of emotionally heavy news. Yeah, I was putting on my shoes and thinking I would pick another day to do this route. But I knew I only had this one day. I didn't give myself the choice, basically. I also knew that it was likely to be the case that as soon as I started climbing, all of that stuff would lift off of me. And that's kind of what I love about that hard style of climbing, is it just requires so much focus. Electric Avenue on that day, at that time, was the perfect level of challenge for me. The start's fairly easy, and then you have to do this quite run out traverse. So before you do the traverse, you have to spend a lot of time making sure all the gear you have is good, because that's the only thing that's stopping you from hitting the ground.
Oh, I got pump plates in that gear.
It's one of those routes where it kind of pushes you and then kind of gives back a little bit. And then kind of the real meat of the route starts. You have tiny little wires that you have to place that don't exactly make you feel super confident. And then the crux moves are really hard, and even harder if you're short.
Hey, Maddie.
I came up with some new beta where you essentially stay in the crack and you do this really balancy, powerful move.
Hop!
Come on.
Hop!
Come on. Come on, Hazel. No.
And then the finale of the route is absolutely mega, and you just have to say to yourself, okay, the gear is good, because it's this really powerful slopey laybacking, and slopey laybacking when you're pumped and it's run out is quite hard to keep your head screwed on. And that's the best feeling, when you're right at the edge of being on or being off. So it's not about going and climbing the hardest trad routes compared to everyone else, it's just about you personally pushing yourself and learning from what that experience looks like.